the Japanese government is undertaking an unprecedented measure to combat soaring rice prices, a situation exacerbated by a confluence of factors including record-breaking summer heat, panic buying, and logistical challenges within the distribution network. The Agriculture Minister has acknowledged the significant impact of these rising prices on the livelihoods of Japanese citizens. To alleviate the strain on consumers, the government plans to release nearly 250,000 tons of rice from its strategic reserves, a move of considerable scale and significance within the context of Japan's rice market. This intervention marks a departure from previous instances where government intervention involved releasing rice reserves primarily in response to natural disasters such as earthquakes, typhoons, or significant crop failures. This is the first time the government has directly addressed price inflation stemming from distribution issues and related supply chain disruptions. The unprecedented release of reserves underscores the severity of the current situation and the government's commitment to stabilizing the market and protecting consumers from undue price increases. The current average retail price for a 5 kg bag of rice, a staple in the Japanese diet, has reached yen 3,688.24, a substantial increase from yen 2,023 observed last year. This represents a significant jump in cost, impacting household budgets across the nation and highlighting the urgency of the government's intervention. The dramatic price increase underscores the vulnerability of the Japanese rice market to external pressures, particularly concerning supply chain resilience and the impact of extreme weather events. The decision to release such a large quantity of rice from the national reserves was precipitated by a series of interconnected events. The record-breaking temperatures experienced in 2023 severely impacted the rice harvest, resulting in a smaller than anticipated yield. This initial shortfall in supply set the stage for subsequent challenges. Furthermore, the influx of record numbers of tourists in the past year led to a surge in rice consumption, further depleting available stocks. This increased demand, coupled with the existing supply constraints, created a perfect storm for price inflation. Adding to the already precarious situation were a series of typhoon and earthquake warnings, triggering panic buying amongst consumers. This sudden surge in demand placed immense pressure on the distribution network, leading to shortages in certain areas and further fueling price increases. Retailers were forced to implement sales restrictions to manage the dwindling supplies and prevent complete depletion of stocks. The combination of these factors reduced harvest, increased consumption, panic buying, and distribution bottlenecks resulted in the current crisis, necessitating the government's extraordinary act. The scale of the government's response is noteworthy. The rice reserves held across approximately 300 facilities nationwide total almost 1 million tons. A single warehouse, for example, holds around 20,000 tons of rice, a quantity sufficient to fill an estimated 300 million bowls. The planned release of 250,000 tons represents a substantial portion of the readily available reserves, demonstrating the government's commitment to it. The release is intended to flood the market with sufficient rice to alleviate shortages, reduce panic buying, and ultimately lower retail prices to more manageable levels. The long-term implications of this intervention and the need for more robust strategies to mitigate future crises remain to be addressed. The unprecedented nature of this intervention underscores the challenges faced by Japan's agricultural sector in the face of climate change, fluctuating global demand, and the ever-present risk of supply chain disruptions. The success of this intervention will depend not only on its ability to stabilize prices in the short term, but also on addressing the underlying issues that contributed to the crisis in the first place. The government's actions will be closely scrutinized for their effectiveness in addressing the immediate crisis and in shaping long-term strategies for ensuring food security in a changing climate. The impact on both consumers and the agricultural sector will be significant, and further analysis will be crucial in assessing the overall success of this large-scale intervention.